Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with Pat from Wright Defence. Pat, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Neil.
So when it comes to defense, we all want to be protected.
Right.
What is the best way to protect ourselves?
Well, actually, the best way is probably avoidance. There's multiple techniques. Number one is situal awareness, which is just being aware of your surroundings, avoiding potential conflicts, and avoiding situations that have the propensity to escalate.
Yeah, and so when it comes to that, right, like, you know, we always want to back away and all that. But if we're faced with a situation, okay, now here's the thing. A lot of people claim that they're a good teacher, but they're not. What qualifies you to be a good teacher for the CCW?
So my background and my experience is 15 years of physical security work. It's for a variety of customers and variety of facets within my industry, as far as technology, mental health, pharmaceutical development, Department of Defense, TSA contracts, you name it, I've done it. And throughout those 15 years, I've been able to avoid lethal conflict, and I've been able to keep my senses and avoid situations from escalating. And in my spare time, I realize that when you carry a gun professionally, you tend to attract the interest of your friends who might want to learn how to shoot or might want to learn skills to protect themselves and their family. And so I began investing in myself and my education, instructor classes with the NRA, the USCCA, NRA law enforcement. And I think 3 or 2 years ago, I finally applied with the Private Investigators Licensing Board to be a certified firearms instructor to teach other armed guards. So it's escalated gradually throughout my career to this point. But what you get when you take my class is that 15 years of experience.
And you do a 2-day class.
I do, yes.
Explain that to me.
So the standards for the Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs is only an 8-hour class. It covers a variety of topics: firearm safety, marksmanship, but it doesn't really give you everything that you need if you actually face a life-threatening encounter. So the idea of the 2-day class is I wanted to meet all the state requirements, not only the Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs, but also the Private Investigators Licensing Board. And so I combined them into one class. And the idea is to give the responsible citizen the knowledge and the skills that they need in order to survive a lethal encounter.
And so in the state of Nevada, other states are different.
Right.
But someone can apply for a concealed weapons permit as long as they pass the class. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
But they still have to pass the background and all that type of stuff in order to get the firearm. It's not that they can take your class and that supersedes. Let's be very clear, right? They
still have to complete the application process, which I will walk them through during the class, actually at the end of class. And they will still have to pay an administrative fee towards Metro for the purpose of running their background. So that is something that's not covered by the class. It's an additional fee. But to answer your question, yes, they do have additional steps to apply for the concealed weapon permit. And they also have additional steps before even taking the class to get the armed guard card, the PILB armed work card.
And so that's what's really interesting about what you're doing, because you're dealing with the end customer as well as the business.
Right.
So if someone wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way for that to happen?
So the best way is email right now, because I am tied between, I'm growing 2 companies at the same time. The other company I work for is Cascadia Global Security. I'm their licensee with the Attorney General. It's a security company, and they're ranked 52nd on the Inc. 5000 this year. That takes up a lot of my time, but email, I will get back to you. I will set up a private class, or I will set up a scheduled class and add it to my Google Calendar.
Pat, I want to go into a little bit more in depth about the class. You know, so can you go into that a little bit more for us?
So one of the benefits of the 2-day class is I get to elaborate a little bit more on the legal aspects that are associated with justified homicide, which includes the prudent person standard, which means that, you know, in order for you to actually survive a lethal encounter, yes, you need marksmanship, you need diligence, sexual awareness, everything else. But the legal aspect, what comes after, can literally tear you down. And so on the 2-day course, the second day is spent on the majority just on the legal aspects of what is a prudent person. You know, a prudent person is someone who avoids extremes of both caution and audacity. And I don't think any other class that I've taken in Vegas has really dived into that aspect of self-defense and concealed carry.
And so the importance of that is it's not just a matter of just showing someone what to do to carry the concealed weapon.
Right.
It's about showing the opposite side of that, to not put yourself into a situation, and if you are, to at least know your rights. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. It's, of course, we emphasize avoiding the situation entirely and using situational awareness and techniques like management of assaultive behavior and crisis prevention and intervention to avoid those situations entirely. But should you actually commit the act of justified homicide in the self-defense scenario, we go over what happens next, and that's very important.
Yeah, because you're scared.
Yeah, you're scared. There's moral repercussions, societal repercussions, and legal repercussions to taking someone else's life. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people put much time into when they're teaching these classes.
Yeah, and so it's great that you do.
Right.
You know, because we don't ever want to put someone into that situation where they have to choose.
Right. It's horrible.
But if they have to make that choice, at least they understand.
We want them to be prepared for the aftermath, yes, because there are ultimately repercussions for your actions.
Pat, we don't have a lot of time, but here's what I want to know. You're a member of the Better Business Bureau.
Yes, I am, as of this year.
Why did you join the member?
I was actually invited to join. I didn't really look into it or consider it. I received an email that I was eligible to join because all my permits were paid, all my licenses were active, and I was kind of sought out. So once they told me the fees and what was associated and the benefits of joining, I decided that it was within my interest to try it out and give it a try for my new business.
Well, we're glad that you're a member, and we appreciate you coming. Let's make sure we look at this camera right in the center, and then we're going to give everybody a big wave and smile. Okay, Pat? You ready?
That sounds good, yep.
All right, if you need anybody, call Wright Defense. Right, Pat?
Right.